toxic, phony, hypocrite, liar. That's what she is.
Yes, the 83-year-old entertainer just announced that the upcoming 19th season of her show will be its last. Apparently, she created a workplace more toxic than an Amazon warehouse in Chernobyl.
Led to article after article of people being like, Ellen's a bitch. Ellen is a nasty person. And all these staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that show. If you saw her, this is not a nice person.
On camera, she laughed while she badgered her staff. And so all good things must end. And also the Ellen DeGeneres show.
For you. Because I'm seeing this week that there is an attempted comeback by somebody who did not cross one of those fateful lines of the misstepping on their sacred cows of gender or race or sexuality.
Yeah.
But she was said to be a nasty bitch, and that's Ellen DeGeneres.
We were told from the very beginning, don't talk to Ellen, don't do this, you can't, you know, go into her office. It was very nerve-wracking, very stressful. We all walked on eggshells all the time.
So she eventually got canceled, but now she's coming back. She's got a Netflix special. That's the right response.
Yeah.
She's got a Netflix special. And here's the capper. On the promo, and apparently there's now articles out about from people who have seen the preview, she plays the victim. And she says, poor me.
For once, Ellen DeGeneres isn't dancing. She's desperately dodging. The queen of daytime nice, the monarch of be kind, just had the velvet curtain ripped clean off her Hollywood empire and the ones gleefully wielding the shears. None other than the unlikely tag team of Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld, with Joe Rogan providing color commentary on the carnage. Let's just say, it's not pretty. From alleged backroom tantrums that would make a reality TV star blush, to diva-level drama that could curdle milk, Ellen's once squeaky clean image has taken a nosedive into a vat of espresso-fueled chaos and alleged workplace toxicity. What dark secrets did Megyn spill? Why did Gutfeld look like Christmas, Halloween, and his birthday all came early? Buckle up, folks, because this exposé makes your average daytime drama look like a wholesome Disney movie. You simply won't believe what they and Ellen's own former staffers reportedly uncovered.
As a host, she's amazing, as a host. But as a boss and someone who's behind the scenes running the show, she's a different person. She's not the person people see in front of the camera.
Do you think anything will change?
No, because she should have apologized 16 years ago. This environment, this toxic culture that she created in the office has been going on for 16 years.
Ellen and her wife, Portia, have left their millionaire haven of Montecito for England. Now, they're saying they'll never come back in the wake of Trump's win. Do you think that's the reason why she's leaving?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres, the woman who once seemed to be America's collective sweetheart, somehow ended up as the country's collective facepalm. It's like watching the human embodiment of a Pinterest fail. All shiny, curated smiles on the surface, but underneath, a total disaster zone, with glitter, questionable workplace ethics, and emotional chaos scattered absolutely everywhere. You know, she started off as this trailblazing comedian, bravely coming out on national television in an era when that was a monumental risk. We all applauded that. But then, somewhere along the line, Ellen allegedly transformed into this bizarre corporate mascot, a walking, talking hallmark card of forced positivity. Except, as the stories began to emerge, it seemed like that card was printed upside down, possibly smudged with the tears of underpaid interns, and written in a language only her lawyers could decipher.
Got canceled after she had this testy exchange with Dakota Johnson, where something happened where Dakota said, oh, I had this birthday party, and Ellen said, well, why didn't you invite me? You didn't invite me. And she said, like, no, I did invite you, Ellen. That's not what happened. And Ellen had blown her off. And then tried to play the victim on the set with her. Anyway, it led to article after article of people being like, Ellen's a bitch. Ellen is a nasty person.
Happy belated birthday. When was your birthday?
It was October 4th.
October 4th. You turned 30.
I did.
And how was the party? I wasn't invited.
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen. You were invited. Last time I was on the show, last year, you gave me a bunch of about not inviting you, but I didn't even know you wanted to be invited.
Well, who
'Cause I
doesn't
didn't
want to
even
be
know
invited to a party?
Well, I didn't even know you liked me.
Of course I like you. You knew I liked you. You've been on the show many times, and don't I show like? Yeah.
But I did invite you and you didn't come.
Let's not pretend Ellen is some innocent, bubbly angel she so often sold herself as on daytime TV. According to numerous reports and former employees, she was the queen of don't look behind the curtain, all while everyone around her was apparently suffering in silence. That whole be kind mantra, pure PR magic, a masterstroke of branding. You'd think kindness was the secret proprietary ingredient in her recipe for daytime television success. Except when you actually peeked behind the scenes, thanks to brave whistleblowers, the kindness seemed to have been replaced with a mandatory sugar-coated misery. It was like someone handed out forced smiles at a corporate seminar on how to effectively practice cruelty while maintaining plausible deniability. If be kind was truly her motto, the cast and crew of her once dominant show would have reportedly won annual awards for best victims of passive-aggressive workplace horrors. As one former TV producer who worked on her show bluntly stated, toxic, phony, hypocrite, liar. That's what she is.
Ellen DeGeneres was daytime TV's queen of nice. She danced, she talked to cute kids, and surprise, she's a huge asshole.
Ellen DeGeneres feeling the heat. Bullying, now even harassment.
Hey, Ellen DeGeneres, I hope you never find employment again.
Turns out Shorty is a demon. Somebody stop this woman before it's too late.
So former employees actually said that Ellen's be kind mantra, it was all for show.
The stories that trickled, then flooded out were legendary in their alleged awfulness. Don't talk to Ellen. Don't make eye contact with Ellen in the halls. Don't breathe too loudly in her general vicinity. It was reportedly less a television studio and more a high-stress psychological experiment. Staffers walked on eggshells constantly. The bombshells exploded when former employees finally came forward. Suddenly, Ellen's sunny, feel-good studio was painted as less a fun place to work and more like a bizarre, pastel-colored Twilight Zone episode focused on human decency, or the alarming lack thereof. Employees spoke of a toxic work atmosphere so thick you could cut it with a knife. Or better yet, slice through Ellen's carefully constructed veneer of niceness like a warm knife through room temperature butter. From mean-spirited behavior to outrageous, diva-level demands, it was like her on-screen kindness was the ultimate wolf in sheep's clothing.
I mean, Ellen got canceled for real a few years ago from just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a single comment she said or something she did, just lots of people saying that working for her was a living nightmare and that she's a jerk. And I think that's probably why she wants to leave, because she hasn't really been able to make a comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, remember how everybody loved Ellen? They're like, Ellen, we love you, Ellen's here, yay. And then that all went away. So she probably has been thinking of a reason to leave, and now she thinks that this is the reason to try to make it look like some sort of, look how afraid I am, I feel how you feel because I'm, you know, of Trump.
Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld, never ones to miss an opportunity for some grade A media roasting, didn't just report on these allegations. They gleefully peeled back the layers of the nice lady myth to reveal the reported reality underneath. They painted a picture of a workplace that felt less like a supportive family and more like a prison break scenario where everyone was just trying to survive until the end of their shift. Greg Gutfeld, true to form, likely tossed a couple of flaming torches directly into the Ellen is Perfect bonfire. Watching Gutfeld roast, Ellen was like witnessing a pit bull gleefully chew on a particularly annoying squeaky toy. Relentless, savage, and for her critics, strangely satisfying. He took absolutely no prisoners, ripping apart the whole carefully constructed facade with sharp, snarky one-liners that made it impossible to defend the indefensible. Like, here's the woman who literally made kindness her entire brand, but apparently forgot to extend that kindness to her own employees. Boom. That kind of observation hits harder than a leftover, stale, canned laugh track.
And she says, for me, and she actually has the nerve to say that she was run out of Hollywood. This person
with $100 million in her pocket.
$450 million, according to Forbes. That's a low estimate.
Yeah.
Because so now she's out there saying, I was run out of Hollywood. She's actually reportedly complaining about how hard it is for women in America with the double standards.
Look at Oprah, how hard it is for her.
Oh, she's got what?
And Megyn Kelly, she didn't just dabble in the roast. She went full-on culinary chef with a flamethrower, serving up piping hot takes, seasoned with hard-hitting facts and alleged insider accounts. She laid out how Ellen's team reportedly described her as someone who had a temper colder than a Minnesota winter and an ego larger than the Hollywood sign itself. The classic, I'm the boss, so bow down attitude, mixed with a uniquely passive-aggressive brand of management, made Ellen less of a role model and more of a cautionary tale about what happens when unchecked charisma curdles into toxic power trips. And the irony here is truly exquisitely delicious. Ellen DeGeneres built a multi-million-dollar global empire around the singular concept of kindness, spreading be kind memes like they were free samples at a craft store. But behind the scenes, she allegedly treated her own crew like they were disposable extras in a dystopian horror flick. It's like the Grinch stole Christmas, but instead of gifts, decided to gift rap cruelty and pass it off as workplace motivation. Megyn and Greg tore this glaring contradiction apart like kids gleefully tearing into Christmas presents with absolutely ruthless glee.
Countless allegations surfaced last summer that the show's work environment was rife with harassment and discrimination. Following those charges, Ellen's ratings dropped faster than Kevin Spacey's pants at a boy band pool party.
What's even more entertaining, or perhaps disturbing, depending on your perspective, is how Ellen's be kind persona didn't just allegedly crash and burn backstage. It also frequently collided with the reality of her public statements and on-air actions. The same woman who would preach about spreading positivity and love also found herself embroiled in numerous controversies, including accusations of racial insensitivity and out-of-touch elitism. When she looked back at those moments, it was reportedly less, I made a mistake and I've learned from it, and more a masterclass in, let's just sweep this under the rug and hope no one with a functioning memory notices. Megyn Kelly, with her journalistic precision, pointed out how this pattern of selective kindness is less about genuine empathy and more about meticulously maintaining a squeaky clean, highly marketable brand image. Because let's face it, if your kindness only manifests when the cameras are rolling, are you really kind at all?
Out there saying, I was run out of Hollywood. She's actually reportedly complaining about how hard it is for women in America with the double standards.
Look at Oprah, how hard it is for her.
Oh, she's got, like 10 houses, Ellen DeGeneres?
Michelle Obama, look how hard it is for women in America. They're hurting.
They're going to let her back in, Rob, because she's a lesbian, she's a leftist, and she didn't hit one of their sacred cows. Nastiness, that's their bread and butter.
After the toxic workplace allegations went nuclear, Ellen did what any embattled multimillionaire celebrity icon with a team of crisis PR experts would do. She gave a carefully rehearsed, tearful non-apology in a room full of staffers who were probably calculating how many more months of silent, smiling suffering it would take to finally pay off their student loans. It was the kind of performance that made even seasoned soap opera stars clutch their pearls and mutter, "Wow, that was impressively forced." And her recent Netflix special, reportedly a huge pity party where she lamented being run out of Hollywood from her multi-million-dollar estate, no doubt, and complained about how hard it is for women in America, especially, one presumes, women with $450 million fortunes, according to Forbes. The disconnect is breathtaking. Meanwhile, Greg Gutfeld was practically doing comedic cartwheels over the sheer irony of it all. A daytime darling, melting down in a very public scandal? That's his dream headline. And Joe Rogan, from his man cave of free thought, was likely sitting back, perhaps in his sensory deprivation tank, whispering to himself, this is precisely why I only trust chimpanzees and stand-up comedians. Because really, nothing screams trustworthiness quite like someone who thinks kindness is primarily a brand strategy instead of, an actual demonstrable personality trait. The image was flawless, the vibe was immaculate, but the reality was reportedly more like if Willy Wonka ran his chocolate factory on pure, unadulterated passive aggression and a steady diet of overpriced matcha lattes. This wasn't just a fall from grace for Ellen. It was a public spectacle, a masterclass in how a carefully constructed image can shatter into a million pieces when confronted with uncomfortable truths, all gleefully narrated by the likes of Rogan, Gutfeld, and Kelly.